Hey, good afternoon, good morning, and in my case, good evening. I just finished out a good round of door knocking. Yeah, it don't look so bad. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me start by saying thank you very much for liking, subscribing, sharing. If you haven't done any of those, then hey man, what's the matter with you? Go down to the bottom and hit subscribe or wherever you find that subscribe button. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring, and also that's how, you make me legit. I've got to ask you guys. I don't ask for much. But in the least capacity for sharing, or a favor for me giving you this wisdom, is that you come to me and say, James, anything I can do for you? Yes, share. Okay? And let's see, what else can I ask you? Follow me on Snapchat. It's not that hard to find me, James Festini. On Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you feel most comfortable consuming your content, find me there. I'm probably there. Anyhow, today's topic. Oh, I have a door knocking mastery course that you guys can buy, jamesfestini.com/training. You can buy my scripts, or you could continue to follow me until you think, I need one more step and I'm just not getting it. Pay me. Not that I need your money or that I want to spend time coaching someone, but I am available in that capacity. So, if not, enjoy the freebies. Today's lesson. The cultivation and curation and farming of leads in beast mode. My methods are slightly controversial, argumentative at least, with some individuals who come into my channel every once in a while and say, hey, why don't you ask them this or why don't you ask them that? It's a lot of curiosity associated with watching and witnessing me go in, stick my face in a doorway or put my ear in the phone and immediately get punched back. It's something that most people, it is the epitome of what most agents are most afraid of doing, and that is getting rejected. It seems as if I exist in a world where rejection is the reason for what I'm doing. And that is going for no. I got to read that book, Go for the No. I have a feeling it has to do with what I'm talking about. My system is predicated on the law of probability, the law of averages, and as long as my expectations are calibrated properly with what the market will allow, then I can sense and adjust the reality of the situation, rather than some people going in and hearing from some other guru that if you make 30 calls a day, you should have one listing appointment a day. I don't know how that's possible. Maybe in some markets it is. Maybe in some price points that's possible. In my territory, it's not going to happen. It's just not realistic to think that I'm going to be, 30 calls a day. You got to add like 3 more zeros to the end of that before I think I can have a listing appointment. So my reality is calibrated based on an expectation versus the facts. And that's what we come up with. So the cultivating and farming of my database is the key to what I'm doing. And if you'll watch me, you'll see as I'm calling or as I'm door knocking, I know that there's a strong probability that those people are going to say no. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting them to say no to me. But, and here's the big but, I'm anticipating, you hear me? I'm anticipating them to say something other than no. So it's like a boxer who goes into the ring and gets into fights and learns how to get beat up. And once you learn how to get beat up and you learn how to box, suddenly you start recognizing people's weaknesses. But it takes a long time in the boxing arena to get good at knowing people's weaknesses. And once you do thousands and thousands and thousands of boxing matches, you are good. There's got to be a certain level based on your odds, provided that you've got the skills, You don't need talents. You just work harder than the rest of the people. You will become a decent boxer. You find your weaknesses and you improve on them. But then there's a certain threshold where now your weaknesses don't matter as much as sensing the other person's weaknesses. The ability to recognize what other people are saying when they say no. There's a lot of value in understanding the variables of no when I receive them. When I receive that objection. That's not an objection, by the way. It's just the answer to my question. Which 99, 95, 97 out of 100 people will say that. Very, I would say almost out of 1,000 contacts, that maybe 2 or 3 say yes. Those are ridiculous odds. If your expectation is that every 30 someone's going to say yes, if your expectation is that every 100 someone's going to say yes, then that is your calibration. If every 1,000 someone's going to say yes, that's your calibration. But that's not what I'm looking for. Gosh, it's a great gift when someone says, yeah, actually, I am interested. I've been talking. But most of the time when someone says yes, it's followed up with, but I have an agent, or I've already been talking to people. I mean, by the time someone is going to say yes to my question, they're deep into the process. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture the person weeks or maybe even months, or in some cases years ahead of the game, so that when my time comes, when that moment comes, I've already got the relationship. And so when they call, when someone else calls brand new and says, hi, I'm calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house, and they say, no, I'm talking to an agent, that agent is me. So my cold calling, as crazy as it might seem to most people, that cold calling is a long game, not the short game. Expireds are a little shorter game. For sell by owners are a shorter game. But the cold calling for me is about planting seeds and having patience in that. I know that if I know the soil, if I understand my geographical territory, if I know the plant, meaning that they are a homeowner, and if I know that H2O and sunlight will grow them, aka, cold calling, asking the question and following up, will grow that seed, then all I need to do is plant seeds. And if I know that by planting seeds and cultivating and farming and watering and tilling the soil in a geographical territory, that at some point seedlings are going to sprout. It's just life. And my method for going through these cold calls, the only thing that has changed in this last 25 years that I've been prospecting has been the turnaround or the effectiveness of telephone prospecting. I'll be honest with you. It is not dead. It's not even in a coma. But it definitely has like stage 1 cancer, if I can use that analogy, for telemarketing as a whole. Picking up the phone and calling. I think it's still, at least another decade away before, phones will automatically know you're a cold caller and you're out, right? I still have some suspicions now that people are using their smartphones, seeing my number, and then being able to quick enough swipe, because I get so many leads that say yes the first time and then they never answer their phone in some bizarre hide and seek game that I can never master. That's why I use apps like Bomb, and I mail and I email, and I use, I've got other, secret weapons that I deploy in order to make sure it's my miracle grow. It is my secret weapon where I put eggshells or coffee grinds into the farm to generate faster results or more desired results so that I can get, ahead of the game. But my system for how I operate is based on just one expectation, and that is, if I make 100 contacts by phone, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, if I make 100 contacts by phone asking my question, I will without a doubt generate 1 to 5 leads an average of 3 people who will say no in that variation. I told you before, there's many ways to say no. Want to see them? No. No. Nope. No. 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 And this one. No. That is not a no. It sounds like a no. No, it is spelled N-O, but it is not a no. When they go, no, you watch me on the phones for any amount of time, and you'll see, hi, my name is Agent with the company I was calling to see if you had any interest. Hi, my name is Agent with the company I was calling to see if you had any interest. Hi, my name is James. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Have a nice. And then there's one variable, one distinction from another. It's black and white. It's not even rocket science. It's freaking the difference between gasoline and water, people. It is when I say, do you think maybe later down the road you'd reconsider, like in the summer? When you hear me say that, when you watch me say that at the doors or on the phones, it is because I picked up on that subtle variation of no. I don't know that there will ever be a platform for me to compete against another telemarketer with a different script, with the same database, to see what I believe to be a end result that ends in the same fashion, and that is that if I had one telemarketer next to me, and we called the same 1,000 people in one day, and I called them and I said my script and they said their script, that at the end of the day that we wouldn't tally up our leads and that they would match almost identical. I don't know that it would be possible because we'd be calling the same list and someone would be like, no, someone just called, and it would throw things off. But if someone said, no, someone just called me, so you guys thinking maybe later? I mean, when someone steps into anything other than a no, anything other than a no to me is a variation of maybe. And so I ask that one little deeper step. Do you think maybe later down the road you reconsider? Like, well, no, not really. All right. When they do that, if I say, do you think maybe later down the road, and they say, no, all right, well, thank you very much. Have a nice day. I would listen to it. But if I hear them say, no, next question is deflect from me closing and saying, give them a curiosity somewhere where it's not, it leads the leading question where I'll say or ask, do you have any idea what it might be worth? Not really. I check out, well, Zillow's kind of a toy, but it's broken. If you don't mind, I'd love to keep in touch with you, send you out some comps, let you know. You've seen me do it. And that right there, to me, is in essence a seed. It is not a full-grown tree, people. You cannot eat the seed. You can eat the fruit. The seed goes in the ground. You cover it up. You pour a little bit of water and keep going. You get a couple of seeds, put them in the ground. You get 100 seeds, you have them in the ground. And then you can look back and see if there's any sprouts. No sprouts, keep going. Following up on them, going back, checking the soil, checking the temperature, not resurrecting the seed. I mean, that would be crazy in the world of gardening, but checking that things are okay, making sure that the pipes are running for the water, making sure that, that there's not something wrong, and you check it. Now, here's the thing that has to happen, is that in many cases, when you do effectively start following up with these people, in my opinion, you have to generate a database of around 300 of those maybes before you can start seeing results. Reverse engineer that math. 100, and then 3, and then 300, translated 3,000 contacts, 30,000. It's a lot. It's more than you thought. Test it out in your market, calibrate your capability of generating leads and effective follow-up, and at some point you will definitely have a moment where you will say, aha, I got a listing. Same thing with door knocking, same thing with cold calling. Someone the other day came into my room and said, James, I went out door knocking And I hit 20 doors, and on the 21st door, I got an appointment. I'm like, boom, there you have it. And someone came in and said, I did about 200 doors and I got one lead. Boom. No, 200 doors? What are you saying? Right? I have to go back and I get excited. I'm like, what the hell are you saying? Well, I was doing just listed. I'm like, okay, so you're going to the door and you're saying, hi, my name is Agent with Company. And I just listed a house on 123 Main Street. And I was wondering, when do you plan on selling? You're saying that? What did they say? Never. Then what did you say? I said, well, if you were to move, where would you go next? You said, what? 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 That's why you're only getting one every 200 doors, because you're trying to have a conversation with a person who doesn't give a rat's ass who you are, doesn't give a shit what you're doing at their door. They just want you to F off their lawn. Can you see I'm chewing something? Can you see my dog is barking like crazy? Can you see my foot sticking out of the door? If I move my foot from this crack in the door, he's gonna come out and bite your nuts. You want that? Then get the F off my lawn, sir. Great, and when would that be? And if you were to move, where would you go next? You're like, you hear like the cocking of the gun. Step off the lawn, mofo. That's why my odds are higher that although you would assume that it is very direct in and out, I'm really only there to do one thing. Like a professional boxer would go into the ring ready to fight. He goes out, and you'll see, like even in the MMA, even the greats, they'll come out, throw one punch, see how the other person, and within a second, within that quick exchange, they size you up and go, that's how you are. Even though they've watched tapes, they never quite know how it's going to happen against you, what their mindset is, was the time frame, what kind of house did they just move, is it a probate, did somebody just die, are they eating, is their kid dying? I mean, so many variables as to why you can't predict it. Only thing you can predict is by calibrating what the hell your farm yields. If you go to Southern California and try to plant a banana tree, you're not going to be able to do it. So if you're going into your market using that script that I kind of mocked a second ago, if you're in an area where people are sick of seeing door knockers, you're planting banana trees in Southern California. It's not going to happen. You're planting palm trees in Canada. Not going to happen. Is it? I don't think so. New York. I don't know. I just know palm trees are very, very limited to a certain region. But look, ladies and gentlemen, what you have to understand is I'm 100% convinced that no matter where I went on planet Earth, my script would work because it is just one question, one answer, and a very, very distinct and intuitive perception with an expectation of hearing no, with a slight anticipation, a highly tuned ear listening for a slight, an ever so subtle variation on the no, where they say, no, and then you find out, and then you dig in one deeper, and then when you find out it's not right now, it's in 6 months, you stockpile them, and you stockpile them, and then guess what? Unless you're coming into this business thinking that you're going to generate immediate listings and you're going to be on Bravo, $1 million listing in the next 6 months, you're screwed, man. Your head's all wrong. You're all screwed up. You're thinking wrong. If you think this is one of those get rich quick, or you're coming into this business to crush it, and you watch, you're all about 10X and Grant Cardone and Gary Vee, yo, I'm gonna rock this thing. You got to take a step back, man, because there are people ahead of you. There are actually people stepping on your farm. So what you're trying to do, here's where it gets a little mind blown, is when you are planting these seeds, guess what? Someone else is coming up there and relocating your seed. Someone else is out there calling and prospecting and door knocking. And when they get the lead, it's the equivalent of them sneaking up, seeing a little sprout, popping it out of the ground when you're not looking, because you can't possibly be maintaining all of this massive farm, these thousands of trees, or in my opinion, 300 seedlings. Constantly looking back, no seed, okay, no seed, go, let's go get, you're constantly, Follow up, new one. Follow up, new one. Fill in the funnel the entire time. You ever seen the funnel strategy? Google it. Funnel strategy. You'll see the funnel where you put all sorts of stuff into a funnel and only a few come out. And it's in qualification process. Worst thing that can happen is that you will eventually get the feeling that you've got a lot of leads. And at that moment, you have to understand a whole new science of maintaining and cultivation of a farm. What will happen is you'll look back in your crops and all of a sudden they're 2 or 3 feet. Let's say we're doing orange trees. I like oranges. Let's say we're doing orange trees and they start getting a little out of control, or leaves are dying, or branches, or something sick. You cut off branches, or roses, for example. You cut off roses. You have to prune and trim the branches. You have to go in and clean the dead stuff. You got to make sure that there's no mites. Or whatever the mites. I'm not a gardener. You got to go in there and make sure there's no bugs on it. Guess who the bugs are? And the wolves. I mean, forget the wolves and the rabbits who are after your crops. Who are they? They're the competition, man. They're the rabbits. They're the wolves. They're the deer. Especially those rabbits. I hear rabbits are real vicious. Rabbits and gophers. That's your competition. And guess what? They don't sleep, man. The rabbits, they come out in the dark. The gophers go underground. You've got to constantly keep vigilant and effective and efficient at maintaining that database. Follow up, but be ready to prune that tree and keep going. And what's going to happen one day? There's going to be a fully mature tree in your back. You're going to think that you have something. You're going to think, oh man, all these fruits, they're coming. It's almost there. Oh, Mrs. Jones, you're so wonderful. Let's get together next week. And then you call next week and Mrs. Jones doesn't answer. You're like, oh, Mrs. Jones, where you at? It's me, Agent, remember? We've been keeping in touch. I see your fruits. They're almost ripe. And all of a sudden, you call him and go, oh, yeah, this is Mrs. Jones. Yeah, I just want to let you know that someone knocked on my door and they offered me, And you're like, and you really want to go into your garden, grab a rope and hang yourself by the Mrs. Jones orchard tree because you lost it. How do you get over the loss? How do you cultivate? How do you farm? How do you protect that farm? You can't protect the farm. All you can do is be a master at generating so many leads. You have to be a master at planting so many seeds so fast. When you guys watch me do what I do, many people are like, how? Even my wife now is starting to go, I don't understand. How do you have so much energy? Because I know that winter is coming. I know that the dust storm has got to come. And for me, it's like, I really, really, really want to just bathe in oranges. I want a field of orange trees where all I have to do in the morning is just go out and pluck them now, because they live and exist and they prune, and I can lay a claim and no one can touch them because I got to pluck the first fruit. And when I pluck the first fruit, it is my tree. Am I using too much analogies, guys? Are you getting the sense of this? I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to confirm that what I'm saying is gospel. I've been asking you for several months now. I've been doing this for years, this broadcasting thing, but I've been asking you for several months. If what I've been saying to you resonates, if it permeates, if it sings, if it's in tune, if it jives and you can dig my vibe, you need to do one of the most important things that you can do for your real estate career, and that is immediately unsubscribe and eliminate everybody else from your gospel. You've got to stop listening to everybody else. You've got to unsubscribe. I'm creating enough content and I have enough in the archives for you never to have to reach out again. It drives me crazy when someone comes in and says, well, I heard this or I heard that and all these YouTube videos. And I don't. Stop. Just stop. There's a reason why I am still doing this 24 years later. I understand that some people are like, I don't want to do it that long. I want to have a big real estate company. Well, then I'm not the person for you. Unsubscribe. Don't come back. That's all. Please don't drink from my well if it doesn't quench your thirst. Does that make sense? Have some loyalty. Stop waving different flags. If you're into sports, right? If you're a sports person, you have one team. I'm speaking to you. You have one team. Whether you're a Raiders fan or a Saints fan or a Cubs or a Mets, whatever it is you're into, you would. It's almost like a religion. Like you boo the other side when someone comes in with like a jersey into your, workplace. You're like, Jets, f them. Who dat? I mean, I'm a Saints fan, so for me, we do the Saints. I've been a Saints fan, for about 5 years before the Super Bowl, so I got lucky. But it's like a jersey. My system, my technology, my philosophy is the equivalent to a sports team. And when you don the Festini Mafia flag, when you raise it high and you say, you are the one, you cannot effing fly another flag. It's crazy. You're a traitor. You will not be able to follow the stats. You will not be able to know the history. You will not be able to have an intelligent conversation with another fellow family member without looking like an ass pirate. So do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Burn those other flags or unsubscribe. I don't have a problem with it. I just need devout followers because of one reason only. And that is that you can, in 2 or 3 or 5 years, answer this question when someone says, so who do you follow? What kind of it? Because right now there's a majority of people who are like, oh, are you into that person or that person? Who I'm talking about. Neither of which should not be on the platform, should not have a stage, should not have an audience, but they do. And when someone comes into the business, they want to know your style of selling because you're whatever, they'll ask you, do you follow this person or that person? Well, I'm telling you, in the next 2 or 3 years or whenever, maybe I'll stay below the radar forever, that when someone will say, who do you follow? What style are you? That you can go, I'm in the mafia. I want that to be like synonymous with real estate sales training and coaching, where you're like, I'm in the mafia, and people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, that's right, man, mafia. Maybe we even get a handshake. But that we will have this connection where you understand that all you have to do is play the law of averages. All you have to do is follow. I am not Christopher Columbus. I did not discover these methods. Okay? I'm Amerigo Vespucci. I'll take the title as the godfather of prospecting. I didn't invent it. Just like, America and Christopher Columbus. He discovered it, but America took credit for it. I'm going to be Amerigo Vespucci and say, guys, I have the map. You join the family and you never turn against us. And I promise you will have plenty of business. You just have to be willing to get your face kicked in once in a while. But your face, I promise, it'll look beautiful and it'll be strong. Eh? Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, make sure you thumbs up. Do me a favor, if you guys are worried about sharing this with your competition, don't even worry about it. Because they're just not going to do it. No one's going to do it. Find your own style. Do your own thing. Do me a favor, though. If this isn't your style, if I make you feel guilty like you should be prospecting or door knocking, if you don't feel comfortable listening to me, if you're watching me and you're kind of cynical and just like, this guy's an asshole. Look at his nose. I don't like him. He talks like that. Why has he got to make these faces? Why is he so animated? Why is he using all these analogies? Does he say seriously too much? Just unsubscribe. That's all. Go with your flow. Do what works for you. And if it's not working for you, find the master. And when the student is ready, the master will appear. And if this is your first time watching, thank you. Take a day off and go backwards in time and watch. Immerse yourself in the essence of the Festini Mafia's philosophy for doing the back to basics, door knocking, cold calling, follow-up, lead follow-up, and you will understand how this has to make sense in any market. And you learn these skills, man, you'll be a pro. You will be able to generate enough business so that, my expectation is not 10 years from now or even 5 years from now to be cold calling 100 a day and to be door knocking 100 a day. What many of you don't know is that I've built 4 empires over the last 24 years, and I have this bad habit of picking up and moving once I get recognized and successful in a territory, and completely nuclear explosion on my capabilities. This is the last time. The time before, I'm making money still from that previous territory. I parachuted into a new area. But what will happen within the next 3 to 4 years doing what I'm doing, I will get to a point where I'll have a past client, a sphere of influence, and people will know me, and I'll get the, hey, I see your name, or hey, you've been sending me calls, or hey, I've been getting your emails, or hey, I'm thinking about something. It will happen because I'm stockpiling. I don't believe, though, that at 300 is just a launching pad. I believe it has to be around 3,000. And in that accumulation, that snowball effect, that cultivating and farming process that I preach so diligently and passionately is absolutely so imperative that I succeed in this method, because I don't have a passive stream of income where people are going to pay me. You don't pay me for this coaching. This is free. I'm not making money on YouTube that's going to give me more than a tank of gas every 6 months. Seriously, people, I got one thing on my mind. And that's why even when it comes to coaching, I'm just like, you can hire me, but I'm reluctant because I got one track mind. Business, get more real estate done, get more listing leads now. How fast can I do it? I knock until my feet hurt, and I call until my voice hurts, and then I stand up and knock until my feet hurt, and then I sit down and take a break and prospect by phone until my voice hurts. And it's this rotating mechanism of just complete beast mode lead gen that if you just sit back and witness, you will understand and have full faith that I am in your best interest with no hidden agenda. Although I would like you to like, subscribe, and buy some of my products. If you feel like you need a little bit more, look into it. jamesfestini.com/training. Again, thank you very much for watching this lesson. Hopefully it's valuable. I would like a thumbs up and a comment. Better yet, I would love it if you guys at the bottom did this. Make a comment and said, can you do a lesson on fill in the blank? And I will do it. I'll start doing videos based on your requests. Fair enough? Thanks for watching.